I'm Albert, and from what I hear, you're Aiden. You have quite the reputation, my boy. For being fearless. For boldly crisscrossing the city at night, as if it were broad daylight.
You believe all that?
At first, I didn't believe, because a pilgrim's always a guy with some kind of dark past. A bandit, a rebel, an outcast. But from what they say about you...
I'm sure whatever you've heard is an exaggeration.
Nonsense, my boy. I have something you probably don't come across all that much. Faith. Faith in you.
I'd be careful with that.
It's no time to be careful, my boy. I believe that your strength, determination, and courage are just what you need to retrieve priceless treasures before they are lost forever. Before mankind is plunged irrevocably into the intellectual and philosophical Dark Ages.
So, your books, then?
This isn't about dime store paperbacks, boy. I'm talking about the greatest works of literature ever created through the eons of human existence. The greatest thought pieces, philosophical treatises, works of romance, drama, and horror. All of which serve to illuminate and uplift humanity itself. Losing such a heritage would reduce us to cavemen, with no better way to express ourselves than through savage grunts as we scratch crude figures on walls.
Sure. How can I help?
Work with me, please, to find and secure these treasures. I've been researching the local private book collections. If I'm right, many priceless volumes may be found all around the city. Of course, many of the dwellings are now infested by these horrible creatures of the night. That's where you come in. Here, take this list. Each title on it corresponds to one of the many facets of humanity. Fail to save them, and the diamond of mankind will dull and shatter like cheap glass. Remember, we are not simply creatures of flesh and blood, but also of mind and ideas. I am charging you with the salvation of the very spirit of man.
Right. I'm off then.
I'm recording this for posterity, so they can learn from my mistakes. To warn all who follow about the worst of plagues. And I am not referring to the virus. I was born into a very religious family. My earliest childhood memories? Prayer. Every morning and every evening. Knees scraped from constant contact with oak floorboards. When I grew up, I had a very hard time. I was lonely. I suffered. Despite my upbringing, I turned to religion for solace. It gave me the answers I sought. That I came to realize my father had tried to give me. To endure bullying is to earn heavenly rewards. God was my best friend, my only friend. I talked to him every day, and I believed that he listened to me and answered. And loved me too. I felt like I owed him a debt. That's why I enrolled in seminary. I think I became a fanatic in a way. The urge to spread his teachings, convert others. It was not about God. It was about my own shortcomings. It was about me. There was something unhealthy about it. And dangerous. At the age of 23, I became a priest. Still just a snot-nosed kid, and I was supposed to be a shepherd of souls. I felt I was meant for this. I had answered the call. If God was with me, then who could be against me? I was full of conviction, faith that I could make the world a better place. But the world had other plans. Many times, I performed someone's last rites. I held their hands as they died. And in that last moment, in the millisecond before their last breath, I saw in them relief. Not because they were moving on to some kind of better world, to heaven, but because it was the end of something painful. They could finally bow out of the futile and exhausting dance of life. Their chore of living would be over. Their suffering would end. It was something completely incomprehensible to me. How can a person reject the gift of life? To accept death joyfully. For a person as strong as me, this was something very disturbing. Or maybe they knew about something that I had not seen. Did they see it in their last moment? This was the first crack in the edifice of my faith. And then the epidemic started. There's a term for what came next. A crisis of faith. And with me, it started long before the epidemic. But when people started to turn into monsters.
What gonna get you?
When city after city was eaten by darkness and poison, I started to wonder, where is
Enjoy
God?
your new gear and good health.
Is he putting us through a trial? Or has he abandoned us? When Black Monday came, I no longer had any doubts.
We all want peace.
There is no
You won't
God.
do better elsewhere.
There never was. Because of the THV Genmod bombings, 2 million people lost their lives. The streets carpeted with human corpses. What God would allow that? He would have to be infinitely cruel. Of course, other so-called men of the cloth offered nonsensical observations. That this was the will of God. Punishment for our wickedness. That Colonel Williams himself served as the hand of God. But that didn't matter anymore. The curtain had been torn off. People lost their faith. Because what were they supposed to believe in? No one wanted a God like that. And in that moment, to my own surprise, I felt free. As if I were a puppet who finally cut the strings that controlled him since birth. Free at last.
It's January 7th, 2036. I found your recordings. I understand why you hid these from me. I was sad when you said this wasn't the life you wanted for me. But you don't regret that I lived, do you? Of course not. I mean, sure, life is complicated. We just moved for the 10th time. We had to kill Rex. And then, you know, Mom died. But hey, I've got all my limbs. I have enough food to eat. I have friends. I have you. And after 14 years of zombie shit, I think I turned out all right. I see every day how hard it was for you and how you try to make life better for me. And that, well, if it wasn't for me, you might not. I can't even say that. I don't know what life used to be like. I only know the world as it is now. And I just want to tell you that, well, I don't know, that I'm happy to be alive, you know? And that I'm grateful for that. Anyway, happy 50th birthday, Dad. And believe that Mom's still shining her light on you to keep those dark thoughts away. I love you, Papa.
Come on. Got something to show you. I know about you. You help people.
Well, I help people sometimes, yeah.
I'll pay you, of course. I can't afford it. This is all mine. Mine and my dad's.
Not in the market for a new skirt, but... You know what, sure. Tell me what you need.
Okay. But this is just between you and me. Can't let Dad find out.
Oh, so it's his money you plan on spending.
Nonsense. I'm trying to stop Dad's girlfriend from spending his money. Elena. She's got him wrapped around her finger. They've only been together a month and she's gone through his savings already. He's even mortgaged the shop. She has to be stopped, or we'll have nothing left. Take this. It's all I have. If this goes any further, she'll kill him.
Wait, what? Kill him?
Like she did several so-called boyfriends before him. All fallen dead shortly after falling for her.
Do you have proof?
How about 4 bodies? All her exes except the last one. His name is Josh. Managed to escape her clutches alive. He can tell you all about her, I bet. Find Josh. Ask him. It may be the only way to save my father from his own stupidity.
Where can I find Josh?
Spends a lot of time at Frank's. Half in the bag. Usually after sunset. But I bet he can prove Elena is a killer.
Dr. Stevens, thank you for your support as I take over the role of Chief Physician of the GRE. While I understand the higher-ups need a scapegoat for the virus leak, your expulsion seems counterproductive. All the more reason to thank you for agreeing to review my reports before I send them to the GRE board. October 20th, 2021. A GRE report on the state of the epidemic. With the first cases in Zurich and Paris, the plague spread like wildfire. We're dealing with a variant of the 2014 strain. We call it tachytransmissive heron virus, or THV. It's deadly and highly transmissible. We recommend immediate action. All European borders must be closed immediately. All civilian air and rail services suspended. National governments must introduce civil procedures as follows. Isolate individuals thought to be infected. Quarantine anyone who's been in close contact with them. Issue shelter-at-home orders immediately. As for the dead, bodies should be incinerated. Implementing restrictions now will slow the spread of the virus. We need time to create a vaccine and have begun working with private sector companies. Our diligence in the coming weeks will decide on our fate.
That was close. Take this, please.
"11 months have passed since we arrived in Villador. With us are the leaders of 6 major European countries and their combined militaries. The Council of Mankind. April 13th, 2024. GRE report on the state of the epidemic. The report is about Villador, the last major city left in the world. All others have fallen. This city is humanity's last hope. The Council of Mankind is doing its best to protect the city as the GRE studies THV in controlled circumstances. The protocol. Unrest among the citizens is growing as thousands of immigrants gather outside the walls. The military safeguards the border, but some leaders are worried the situation might escalate. Inside, crime is on the rise as supplies grow scarce. Civilians have started to form militia groups, patrolling the streets with guns. General Pratt ordered them to disband and confiscated all privately owned weapons. This led to many protests all over the city, attended by thousands. At one gathering, the military opened fire. 64 civilians were killed. People call it the March Massacre. I have reason to believe we are on a downward spiral now. I've never been religious. But if there's a God, then this virus is the devil. And we are in hell.
Here are your books.
Not my books, dear boy. Our books. Humanity's books. The world is collectively sighing right now due to your efforts, and it doesn't even know why. This tale, your tale, will be the next great epic, and it's only begun. Ah, the Bible. I mean, well, that's like the book, right? Few books have shaped the world as profoundly as the Bible. Hans Christian Andersen and his fairy tales. Powerful stories of virtue and resilience. Children's tales, yes, but containing wisdom for all. You have just rescued the collective unconscious of the Western world. Thanks to you, the fire in the belly of humanity burns brighter today. Let's stoke it more, shall we? Thalia there is my associate. She helps me track the collections around the city. She will point you to the next locations as I catalog the books you bring me.
Hi, Aiden. I'm Thalia. So, you're the pilgrim Albert told me is helping us rebuild humanity's library.
I am.
Albert's a wonderful man. I only hope others will appreciate what he's trying to do. We're not in the middle of the Renaissance, you know. Few people read. What about you?
What about me?
Do you read?
When I can. Not often.
Then tell me what you think. Between the Bible and Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales, which would you consider a better guide to human behavior?
It depends on who you are, and what you need to get by, doesn't it?
Thoughtfully answered. Seems there's more to you than meets the eye. And what meets the eye is pleasing enough. You're a breath of fresh air, Aiden. We must talk again next time you bring back books for Albert. Speaking of which, here are the locations of more books.
Till today, I thought our chances against renegade...
August 8th, 2024. GRE report on the state of the epidemic. Uncontrolled rioting grips the city. Last month, an angry mob raided a supply ship moored at the wharf, damaging it. Soldiers panicked and threw crates of ammo overboard to prevent them from being seized by the angry mob. Thank God they kept safe the medical supplies we need to increase antizin production. But let us not forget, antizin is not a cure. It merely inhibits the virus. Immigrants deemed useful are being granted entry to the city. This selection process has sparked even more outrage and further violence.
Katsumi, did you allow treatment of wounded rioters at your Central Loop clinic?
General Pratt, these people require medical attention. Doctors take an oath.
For fuck's sake! Your clinic is now the epicenter of a THV outbreak! 4 doctors have tested positive!
What? Oh, God!
The clinic is to be isolated immediately, a quarantine zone established. If not, the virus will spread like wildfire. We're shutting down the VNC tower transmitter. If the only way to stop the riots is to block all communications and confine them to their homes, so be it. Proud of yourself, Katsumi?
Villador. Why, it's another lovely day in the great city of Villador. How did our fair city look several centuries ago? Originally known as Gressburg, a settlement on the banks of the Tursawa River, it received its city charter in 1033 from King Engelram IV, who renamed it Villador. Thanks to trade with the East Indies, Villador grew in importance during the 16th and 17th centuries, drawing in merchants from all over the world. The city's rapid expansion came to a halt in 1772 when the Great Linden Fire broke out. The blaze, which began in the warehouse of the Dutch merchant Jacob Linden, engulfed most of the old herring district and claimed thousands of lives. Yet, as the residents of Villador say, these walls shake but never fall. Even as ruins were still smoldering, reconstruction began, with the new Elysium district rising from the ashes. Built from stone, taken from the quarries of old Villador. Then, at the end of the 18th century, the Church of the Holy Trinity was built, a magnificent example of the neo-Gothic style. Look at the shimmering stained glass windows and prick up your ears. Is that the echo of prayers uttered by your ancestors? None of this would be here had Jacob Linden not had a thing for matches.
You found them! My research was spot on. Here, we have the complete works of William Shakespeare. His stories are some of the most often retold and adapted in history. So universal were his themes. His tragedies were the most popular. Are we humans drawn to tragedy? Something to reflect upon. The Arabian Nights. Originally 1001 Nights. A seminal collection of stories, folk tales, and songs that span a continent over several centuries. It is a melting pot of literature. Sometimes fantastical, often violent. Not unlike life in our own city. More monumental achievements secured from destruction. Let's keep at it. I believe Thalia already has readied a new list.
Hello, Aiden. I see you've brought back a collection of Shakespeare's works for Albert. Are you familiar with Romeo and Juliet?
I guess.
Tell me, do you believe in love? I mean, true love. The fated love of which Shakespeare wrote.
I'd like to think so. I just haven't seen a lot of it in my life.
It's true. Even simple affection seems in scarce supply these days. But the hope... it's the hope that can make it possible. If not now, then later. As the fates decree. Speaking to you, Aiden, has once again been a revelation. I look forward to your next visit. It's a welcome break for me. For you too, I hope. Here's a new list. Watch out for yourself.
More of humanity's legacy restored and protected. The Bhagavad Gita is the controversial Krishna Bible. The warrior god Krishna tells us that he is responsible for our actions. We are a part of him, extensions of his thoughts and desires. It challenges the concept of free will and personal responsibility. Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto is one of the most influential political documents of all time. I wonder what he would say about class struggles in our own day and age, and unique circumstances. Thank you for these, Aiden. I'm afraid we haven't found any new noteworthy collections for you yet, but keep an open channel. I will radio you the moment we have it.